So I got an interesting email from Keon, and I don't know if I'm saying that name right, but I kind of like it, so if I'm saying it wrong, I think I'm going to go my way anyways. But Keon wanted to know about multivitamins and wanted to know my opinion because there's a lot of crazy advice out there about multivitamins and information that's very conflicting, and should I take it, and is it bad, is it helping me, is it the worst thing I could possibly do? So in this video, I'm going to help you understand how to figure out who should and should not be taking a multivitamin. Let's jump in.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
So I'll start off by saying that it's really rare for me to suggest to a client, hey, you got to take a multivitamin. But I do have a lot of clients come to me that are taking one, and the one that they're taking seems to be okay for them, and I'm okay with them continuing to take it. But what we really want to look at when we're talking about multivitamins is, does your body need more resources that a multivitamin could supply? For a lot of people, the health issues that they're dealing with and a lot of the symptoms that show up for them are a direct relationship with the lack of resources that the body is getting. It's not getting all the nutrients that it needs to function the way that it wants to function, and it has to use backup methods and change the way that things are working, and that can create some symptoms and some health issues. So a lot of people really do need more resources, and there is fewer nutrients in the food that we're eating now in general. The despicable farming methods are starting to catch up with us, and the food just doesn't have the mineral content and the vitamin content that it used to have 50 years ago. So we are getting fewer nutrients in the food, which means fewer of these nutrients are coming into the system. So in that regard, that could be an argument for the need for a multivitamin right there, just because there's not as much in the food that we're eating. But a lot of people might have too much stuff in the body, and the body's already dealing with too much and can't get rid of what it needs to get rid of as it is. So you can just look at your blood pressure to get an idea if things are going in the right direction or not. A really low blood pressure, like if you just take your resting blood pressure and that systolic number is below 112, that can be a strong sign that the body's not getting enough minerals in the system for it to function and do all the things that it needs to do. But if that blood pressure is high, there's a variety of things that can make blood pressure go high, but one possibility is that the body can't detox the way that it's supposed to. It can't get rid of minerals and things that it's done using, and so you're going to dump a bunch of more stuff in there and just thicken up the blood more and raise the pressure needed to push that thick blood through the system. Pancake syrup moving through the system is a lot harder to push through than red wine would be. So if somebody already has thick blood and high blood pressure, do they really need to be dumping a whole bunch of stuff in the system? It might not be appropriate for them. Since most of these multivitamins also contain minerals, we want to look, does the body look like it needs more minerals, or does it look like it's already having trouble with the minerals it has and it can't get rid of stuff that it's trying to get rid of? So one thing that we want to look at when someone needs more minerals, in almost all cases, this is due to digestive malfunctions and an inability to break that food down to a level that it can actually get the minerals and nutrients out of that food. So if a person is having any type of digestive symptoms at all, any burping or bloating or acid reflux or constipation or diarrhea or nausea or indigestion or even skin or acne issues, all of these are signs that either one or both sides of digestion are not working correctly, and that's what's creating those symptoms. So we need to have enough stomach acid being produced in the stomach to really acidify that food so that we can break it down. Our bile has to be flowing properly from the gallbladder to be able to neutralize those acids, and those opposite pHs creating this sizzle that kind of helps us bust the food apart and get all the nutrients out of that. And it's very common today for people not to have digestion working correctly, to either not be making enough stomach acid or to have bile become too thick and sticky to flow correctly. And now they're not really getting all those nutrients out of the food. So just know that if someone's taking a multivitamin to try to increase the nutrients that's coming into the body, nothing is going to increase those nutrients like correcting those digestive malfunctions. And a lot of people who don't have enough digestion going on can't even break down that multivitamin enough to get the nutrients out of that. So for me, instead of trying to give somebody a multivitamin and hand them a Band-Aid, I like to help them fix the actual problem and help them break down their food well enough so that they can get the nutrients out of the food they're eating. They're going to eat that food anyways. You might as well get the benefits of what you're paying money for. Now, here's the next aspect that you want to look at when you're looking at multivitamins. Are you thrifty? If you're thrifty, don't take a multivitamin because you're going to buy a cheap multivitamin. Just about any vitamin that you're going to buy at like a pharmacy or a basic grocery store is going to be a cheap vitamin that is all synthetic vitamins and has a lot of junk in it that is not going to be beneficial for you. When you look at the really big company names of multivitamins, the most popular sold multivitamins out there, I'm not going to say any names, but there's a lot of big brands out there that make these cheap vitamins, and when you look at the ingredients, most of them, like the first ingredient, is calcium carbonate. Well, what are antacids made of? They're made of calcium carbonate. This is an alkaline substance that is made to turn off stomach acid and relieve the symptom of that acid coming back up and creating reflux and creating those symptoms. So this is made to turn off stomach acid. Well, stomach acid is needed to acidify that food so you can break it down and get the nutrients out of that food. So most people that are taking a multivitamin are doing so to bring more nutrients into the body. And when the multivitamin contains all this calcium carbonate, they don't understand that they're turning off their digestion and reducing the ability to bring nutrients in from the food that they're eating. So if you're going to buy cheap supplements, don't buy cheap supplements. This country spends less money on the food that they consume per capita, as far as like a percentage goes, than any other country. We spend less. And we spend more money on our health care than any other country. Well, that's not a coincidence. You need to think about what's going on. If we're going to try to find the cheapest, most lowest value item to shove down our gullet and then wonder why we have to spend so much to have some doctor put our body back together, we need to wake up a little bit and understand that what we put in the body counts. It matters. What you're eating matters. So maybe you might want to spend a little bit more money on what you're putting in so that you don't have to spend so much on somebody trying to glue you back together. So when you're looking at multivitamins or any supplements, really, you want to find something more natural. You want to not get all this synthetic stuff. When you look at the ingredients, a lot of the synthetic supplements will have really high dosages. So a lot of them will have these huge doses, but when you look at a natural food-based supplement, those amounts of vitamin within that supplement will be much lower, but they're much more bioavailable and your body can actually absorb a lot more of that vitamin or mineral. So we really want to move our supplements closer to food than some synthetic supplement. Now there's things like vitamin C in the form of ascorbic acid. This is not really vitamin C. It's a synthetic fraction of that whole vitamin C molecule. Now, ascorbic acid does have benefits for some people temporarily, has the ability to acidify a stool and help it move better, lower urine pH. There's things that you can do with ascorbic acid to help a person improve some situations, but it's not something you want to use long term to try to lift the vitamin C in the body. It just doesn't do that. If you want to understand this a little bit better, we'll put a link in the description below for our video on common vitamin C mistakes so you can dig into that a little bit. And that's why you want to be careful about studies that you're looking at in regard to supplements. They're all using synthetic supplements. I'm not using synthetic supplements. I like to use things that are closer to food that the body can actually utilize. So there's a lot of studies out there that show, oh, this could be beneficial in this regard to a multivitamin, and this study kind of shows that multivitamins don't really do anything in this regard. Well, we really need to understand what kind of multivitamins are they using. Are they using something that belongs in your garbage can, or are they using something that's closer to food that the body can actually utilize and isn't adding another burden that the body has to try to figure out how it's going to get rid of? So I'm not going to give you a brand. You're going to have to do some research, but if you want to take a multivitamin, just try to find something that is closer to food and being natural and not so synthetic, and certainly doesn't have calcium carbonate in it that's going to turn off your ability to get nutrients out of the food that you're eating. And if you feel like you might need to use a multivitamin, at least temporarily, and you're dealing with digestive symptoms that are showing signs that you're not really getting all the nutrients out of the food that you're eating, you can jump over right now and check out our video on 10 signs of low stomach acid to see if low stomach acid might be part of that problem that has to be corrected. I can't wait to hear about your results.